Yo, what's up? Welcome back to Studio Time with Ryos. In today's video, I'm going to be starting on some new ideas, and that's pretty much all I have to say. So let's not even waste any time. We're here in FL Studio, guys. We're going to have a nice little sesh today. Let me hide my little toolbar. So we just get FL, and let's get right into it. So I'm torn between making like pure big room and then kind of like my hybrid prog progressive house big room type vibe. I'm not really sure, so here's what I'm thinking. Let's just go through some sounds. Let's get some inspiration going and flowing, and we're gonna see where this takes us. Ooh, I really like the high end in this sound. Try to make a little something of this. Let me also speed this up to 130. I'm trying switching the key. Let's go down to G minor. And I want to make these notes a little slidey. So let's go ahead. Let's throw on portamento. Let's start with 16th. Maybe we'll go to 8th. Let's duplicate that over. That section should actually go up. Let's go here. So something like that to start. Now, the one thing I love about this lead is I love how heavily the reverb is getting sidechained to it, and that's just strictly built into the sound. I have added absolutely Nathan in the post-processing department. The one downside about this lead, though, is it is missing a little bit of that classic super soft feeling, that arena feeling that I love so much. So that's a pretty easy fix, I think. I'm just going to literally layer a super saw lead. Go figure. But let's see how that sounds. Usually, I'll say with like these big roomy kind of leads, these big room kind of sounds, I don't like to go super crazy a lot of times. Because typically the less layers, the better, the cleaner, and the more processing that you can add to make it dirty. Because if you're adding a ton of processing and then also trying to make it dirty, sometimes it's just a little too much. So less is more. But in saying that, I'm going to still try to add some extra layers in order to get that super soft feeling that I love so much. So let's go to my favorite leads. See what I got here. I actually really like Anthem. I was thinking about getting a sound more extreme than that. So let's keep this in the back of our mind and let's try to find another sound too. This sounds pretty nasty. I really like Derave. Derave naturally sounds a bit cleaner to me, so we're gonna rock with that. So I'm gonna go ahead and create a lead group. Now this is gonna be interesting because there's so much reverb on the sound already. I might have to turn it off and do it myself in order to get max control. But let's start with not going super crazy and detailed. Let's just do some basic fattening to the sound first. Let's do good old Camel Crusher. Now these sounds are so good, I don't really need to do anything else immediately. I'm going to have to add more stuff, more plugins when I start to bring in more sounds. But for now, I feel like this is inspiring enough. So let's go ahead and let's move on. I kind of want to finish this melody. I hear a cool little thing at the end. And maybe lengthen this note. So my idea is to simply hold out this note and do something interesting with a tremolator or like a filter, maybe even automate the pitch of the synth and make it go up or down or do something wild. I don't know. But that'll make it a little bit more interesting in the context of the whole song. All right, now let's move on to doing some drums and bass and other fun stuff like that. So to start, we're going to get my favorite kick in at the moment. My favorite kick right now is actually from this pack here called the Oasis kick. Now, the reason I like this one so much is because, number one, it's fat as fuck. It's a really big kick. But further, I feel like it fits in with the trend right now. It's a little bit more of a knocking style kick. And it just sounds really good to me. I don't know. I just love this kick. So we're going to go ahead and start with this guy in there. And now, if we are getting a kick in, let's also add some sidechain to the leads. And maybe doing something here with the melody might be cool as well, but let's continue with the drums first. Let's try this guy first. You know what? Maybe we will go to 132 actually. Speed it up even more. Okay, so that sounds great, but I want to try layering some kind of tonal sound with it. And if I'm going to do that, I should actually solidify if I'm going to stay in this key. So let me see. I mean, G minor is very epic, so I do like that idea, but I also have been liking the lower keys too recently. And I think going to F just made me realize it just sounded like this ending piece of the melody. Yeah. Okay, so I do want to stick in G minor, but experimenting with changing the keys did help me kind of figure out this little melody thing at the end, which is nice. But now that I know I'm going to stay in G, we can go and get a tonal snare that will work in G. I kind of like this one straight off the rip, and we could pitch it down a 2 semitones to make it the G. Yeah, so I've really been liking this trick recently. It's great for the more aggressive genres like big room and stuff. The way I look at it, it's kind of like layering extra reverb on my clap snare, but because I'm doing it through audio and not through like Valhalla Room or something, it just gives me a little bit more control. Plus, it sounds cool. So nice and mean. Okay. Now, do I want to do the bass first, or do I want to try to develop some kind of groove? I don't know. I'm kind of feeling doing the drums. So if we do, let's say, a very simple open hat to start, let's go to Matt Zoe. He's got some nice hi-hats here. Yeah, so shorter or longer is the question. Probably shorter. Now, another thing I'm going to do is I'm going to fade the tonal snare so that we're just kind of getting the reverb. Yeah. Okay, better. Let's try to get some groove going. Maybe we'll stick in this pack. Hey. Kind of sounds a little ghostly, a little bit. It's like translucent. I'm gonna call it the Phantom Loop, but it's pretty sick. I personally need to hear the bass before I do any more drum programming. I need to figure out what kind of bass line I'm gonna rock with. I always like the idea of using an 808 in my drops. And we are in G. So let's test a few out. Yeezy was pretty dirty. This is sick too. I actually like this one a little more. That's pretty cool. Let me slow it down a little bit. Let's go to 130. Only because it's kind of chaotic. And I like the chaos, but maybe we just need to slow down the chaos. Pace the chaos, if you will. Okay, so I'm switching the bass sound. This one sounds a bit crazier. I'm definitely going to want to add a change in the bass line here. Probably make it go down so that it makes the whole entire melody sound a bit dark. I'm still experimenting with the rhythm though. This is kind of, it's fun. It's a little bouncy. Like right here, what if I went... I also want to layer a aggressive bass to go along with it. Something to cut through the mid-range nice. Let's do a Reese bass, yo, come on. Love a Reese bass. They just always sound so mean. Whew, okay, wait. So the thing is, if we're going to do a Reese bass and we have a fat 808 already, it almost needs to be, it almost virtually needs to have no bass, is what I was getting at. So I don't know if this sound is going to be the right one then, but yeah. Hell yeah. Okay, so for this one, same kind of deal. I'm going to make sure to cut off a decent amount of lows. And we're going to trash it up with thermal. Ugh, that's filthy and I love it. Kickstart. And I'm definitely missing some pitch bending too, for sure. I want it to feel like it's kind of pulling around, you know? So we're going to create a pitch automation, and I'm going to focus on doing this with the Reese bass first. And we can try to continue that. And then for this guy, maybe we'll go down instead. Might sound like too much now that I'm thinking about it, but let's see. Now, because I'm using the Reese bass right now, I'm hearing a different idea. I'm just quickly trying extending the bass line, so not making it as fast-paced here and making the notes longer. Because I really like the pitch bend idea, but having the pitch bend every single time was a little too much. So this is my second idea now. Let's see. I feel like that's nasty. And then this, would it come here? Obviously, in the beginning, I added this open hat and phantom loop. I highly doubt it would work right away. Normally, I think I already said it, but normally with big room kind of melodies and stuff, you kind of want to start with the drums a little bit more minimalistic. It sounds cool, but maybe for like the second half of the drop. I'm thinking about adding some kind of cool droning sound in the background, some atmosphere or something like that. And also some stabs, of course. So let's go ahead, type in Atmos as per usual, and let's see what we got here. Maybe this could work. It is in the key of our song, which is nice. As you can hear, though, it is really, really noisy and boomy. So let's reshape this real quick. We'll take off the lows completely. Take off the low mids as well. Okay, there we go. That's why I love this slip tool. My bad. I'm not talking. I'm locked. What I just did was in FL Studio, you can click S, get the slip tool, and you can move around the sample that you're working with. So it's nice to kind of try a bunch of different areas for a thing like a chop like this. Also really helpful for vocal chops, but I digress. Slipping it a bit. I keep moving the one that I'm showing you guys, but I slipped the sample, and this works really good with the lead. That's hype. That's got some good energy. So we'll call this Energy Drone. All right, folks. The next order of business, like I mentioned, was getting some stabs in. The first idea that I had was putting a base stab here in this space, but I think that I like the space. And I don't know if I want to fill it up with a stab. So maybe we'll just add a stab right on the 1. That's a pretty safe bet most of the time. As for what stab we should go for, I don't know. What was that? That was an acid? Let's try an acid. Why not? Alright, the acid stab actually sounds really dope. Nice and mean. Now, I'm thinking about layering this with something else, though. He's sick, too. Oh, my God. This is what I'm talking about. So, let's get some sidechain on these now. And this needs a little bit of grit, I reckon. So we'll add a very simple distortion here. Triangle clip. Ah! That's not what I wanted. Sine drive. Soft clip. Alright, we'll go triangle fold back. Something that I'm considering right now is adding a different stab for this section. And this is pretty sick. I don't know what key this is in. F. Okay, wow. Every stab that I selected has been an F so far. But, yeah, sometimes it just makes it a little less repetitive, switching up the stabs. This stab also is nasty. That's really sick. Now, one thing that I'm noticing about this stab versus this one has so much high end, and it's cutting through a lot better. I tried adding it with that distortion, but I might simply need to just add a noise, like white noise on top of it, like a noise stab. And I got those. So, white noise, bang. So here's what I just decided on. As you can see, stab 3, which is this guy. We're running this guy all the way through every 2 bars. Strictly because there's so much noise, but the noise is so sharp and so quick. I actually really like the way that sounds versus having an LFO noise like this. So I'm going to go ahead and just remove this for now. And then this I'm going to add as a layer just to supplement the noise. And here, I don't mind if it's repeating because it sounds a little glitchy and fast, and I don't know. Sounds cool in my opinion. So that's what I'm going to rock with for now. Stabs are just one part of the equation, though. Because another thing that I like to do is try to incorporate either crazy synth shots or like some kind of reverse sound. So let me see if I listen to this, what comes to mind. I'm thinking a crazier synth shot would be good. Or like a weird synth cut. Like one of these. Like I think this would work better as opposed to something like this maybe. Yeah. So I like the idea of a choir. Of course, this is E major though. Damn it. Okay, what if I just type in choir? I need something in G minor. That's the issue. Maybe take this and just pitch it up. It's 5 semitones to get the G minor. And then we can make it like that reverse sample that I was going to select for my own pack by just simply fading it. Yeah. Sick. Now, I definitely think we can take advantage of the fact that we're going from D sharp to C here by either adding maybe a crash or a synth. Like, we can add something here to just accentuate this fourth bar pretty much. So what if we did choir stabs and kind of tie it together with the thing that we just added, which was those reverse choirs? Am I okay, I am. All right, never mind. I want it to sound more processed and mangled, though. And I think the first part of that equation is not having it be staccato. Like, I don't want it to stop. But we might need it to be staccato. Otherwise, it takes too long to fade in. Yeah. I just thought of the solution, guys. Here's the solution. I'm going to pick a sound that I think is cool, and then I'm going to bounce it into audio, and then that way I can make it sustain, and we won't have that feeling of it going away. You'll see. It's hard to describe because I'm locked. Now I'm getting into some weird sounds, though. Let's just go back to a normal choir. I like this, so here's what I'm going to do. We're going to make these double the length that I intend to use. And then we're going to record it. Okay, so now I can just go maybe here. And then same for this section. Yeah. It has a little bit more of a sampled feel, which I think is nice. And now we can add some weird processing. Let's see. I kind of want to add a little bit of, like this. It's like a brightener. Let's also turn on declicking and then, whoa. I thought my recording got messed up, but I think we're good. Anyway. Brightening up the sound with this. Definitely sidechain this thing too. Maybe a little heavier. There's two other things that I want to add to the sound. I want to add a bit crusher. And I think I'm going to do that via thermal instead. Because there's one sound in here in particular that I really like the way it bit crushes. Vaporwaver. The other thing that I was going to say is either a tremolator or a pan man. I'm more inclined to do pan man. I think that would sound cooler. But something to add more movement. Like that. Now, one thing I just realized, my bass line is going up with C, and my choir fill is going down. I kind of feel like it would sound better if it went up too. We're going to replace this section and just try it out. Bang. Right there. Yeah. Yes, sir. That's what I'm talking about. Again, I don't know why I didn't do that in the first place, but that sounds so much better. Okay, now, this is obviously going to be the start of the drop here. Sometimes it's nice to bring in an extra drum sound to keep the momentum going right away. Do I want to do that is the question. I think I do. we're going to go for a very simple hat. So this isn't the sound that I'm going to choose. I'm just getting it in there, and then we're going to try a few different samples out. See which one sounds the best, but normally a closed hat is valid. Now, this did sound good. What is this? Closed hat one. This did sound good. I also know I've really been enjoying virtual Ryos hats. They've got this glass kind of sound to it that I really like. So maybe this will work, but it's really long. And yeah, as you can see, it's like fading itself. It's a whole mess here, but what if I go like this? Yeah, I kind of like that better. Now, again, I really love this change in the bass line. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to turn off the sidechain here, and we're going to take advantage of it to make a really cool fill. Next, I'm also going to turn off the sidechain for the leads 2. And now I think we should do something cool with automation. I think filtering would be cool enough, to be honest. Oh, actually, wait, there's a sick plugin transit. I'm going to do this for sure. This is kind of like Endless Smile, where it'll automate and just do some really cool stuff behind the scenes, like multiple things at once, while just doing one knob. But this plugin has a bunch of different options, so let's see what these sound like. That sounds cool enough. Let's try like 2 more, though. All right, let's just go back to the first one. That sounded sick with the phaser. I also want to filter it regardless. Maybe make space for other sounds, maybe a vocal if a vocal's going to play here eventually, who knows. But let's go here. Now, before we go on any further, I do want to add pitch bending to the leads. I think they sound great right now, but I think adding that pitch bending would just make it feel a little more like me, since I do that all the time. Let's do 24 on both. And there's one spot in particular that I'm curious to try, and that's right in the very beginning of the melody. So let's do that. Let's go 24 here on the second layer. Hit them with the link. Okay. Tiny bit right here, maybe. Okay, super, super sick. Now, I do want to add another pretty important piece here to the bass group particularly. And I'm just going to filter the basses for the halfway fill. We're going to make the peaks really dramatic on both ends. And then we're going to filter it down also on both ends. So basically high pass and low pass at the same time. Let's copy over all these goodies here. I really like the glass hat. I might like it more than the current open hat. So for starters, let me just copy this over. Maybe I'll layer this. The phantom loop has its pros and cons too. I'm not sure about that either. But what I am sure about is getting in a noise ride for the second half of the drop. It is at 132 though, so let's go like that. Now, obviously, for the second half of the drop, we got to elevate the drums. Like I mentioned, the phantom loop is sick, but it has some cons. And really, the cons for me stem in the top end. So I'm just simply thinking we can just chop the top. And that's fine. I want it to be in the mid-range anyway. So... And another thing that I'm missing right now, this is kind of adding a shuffle or a groove. I also want to have just like a simple shaker going on the whole time. Or not a shaker per se, but just something that's playing a 16th note rhythm. I really like that, actually. Let's go ahead and let's get that in. All right, that new shaker sounds so much better. The drop is pretty much there. I mean, there's definitely some other small production details that I can do, but for right now, I'm really happy with the way this sounds, and I think to me it's more important to get a build up down. So because it's giving me epic and main stage vibes, I want this build to reflect that. And one really nice way to do that is with orchestral style drums. Yeah, like something like that, basic. Let's also get a build snare going. I feel like we should use the main stage one, no? Let's go ahead. I think we should start by getting the leads in the build, maybe. Actually, wait. I have an idea. What if we started with a future rave synth or something like that? Something a little less big roomy, but still ravey. And that would kind of be like the build lead. And then we can work around that. And then also when the drop came and the synths changed, it would sound a bit cooler. It would like catch the listener off guard a little bit. So if we chose like a super basic future rave synth. Yo, I'm actually going to run with this sound. This is not a sound that I would typically use, but I actually really like it. I'm definitely going to want to kick off this sound with a reverse reverb. All right, perfect. So now, drag this in. All right, guys, so here's what I'm thinking. I do want to get some extra drums for this section. So maybe like some big toms and stuff like that. But I want to first kind of glue this idea together with the build-up. So as you saw, I just extended that last note, just like how it was in the halfway fill, except this time it's extending for a long time. And I'm going to pitch this up and kind of turn this into a riser. And I think that'll work well for this kind of idea, since this is going to be very like festival oriented. We want to create a lot of tension, a lot of energy. Now, I'm also thinking about getting rid of this guy here, this build snare. Now I want to record this G note in. I think I can do something really sick with this reverb in the build-up. Also, it would help kind of give the listener a small hint as to what's to come. So if we went like... Yeah, I like that idea. So the build snare is there. Now we need something to be counting as well, something to anchor the rhythm. A clap is the easiest option, and I think the clap for Monster would just be perfect here. Very festival oriented already. I'm also going to get an impact here. Okay, next up, I'm doing the build bass. My idea is to do a simple Ryos build. So we'll hold on G. And I think the introduction of a Ryos bass after hearing the synth and solo would kind of add a little bit of like a harmonic quality maybe. I don't know if that's the right way of describing it, but I think it would help a lot actually. So All right, so right there, as I'm hearing it, you may have saw me wave my hands like a maniac, but I really want to get a stomp going. Before I was saying orchestra drum, but I think a stomp is a better way of describing it. I need a big stomp, dude. Bigger. Also gonna get a crowd effect here. Next, let's get a sweep going into the build-up. Now, because that main break lead is turning into a long riser, I would also want to have another riser in there, but one that's a bit more rhythmic. So the first thing that comes to my head is like having that classic lasery kind of, what's it called? Like laser riser? Sorry, brain is short-circuiting. Pong riser never fails me, man. We're going to rock with this one. I think that would sound good too, actually, just bringing in the drop leads. Let's do that. I like that idea. Let's bring this over here. Let's turn off the sidechain. And then we're going to duplicate this. We're going to use the same filter. All right, folks, so we pretty much got all the ingredients for the build-up as well. I'm going to experiment with one last thing, and then we'll call it wraps. The thing I want to experiment with is, like, maybe an alarm or maybe a cool energy drone. Yeah, okay, awesome. So this drone works perfect. I gotta customize it a little bit. I don't want it to be as warm, but this is like adding a little like quirkiness to the build-up, adding a little bit of movement. All right, guys, so that'll wrap it up for today's session. Let's take a listen from the top, and let's see what I came up with. My bad about the ending. I forgot to fix that part. But yo, let's go, man. This is a absolute festival smasher. Let's get it. I hope you guys enjoyed today's video. If you did, please be sure to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, hit that notification bell so you're notified the next time I upload. And if you didn't already know, I do have a Patreon, and we got lessons, feedback, monthly sample packs, project stems to studio time with Ryos, a bunch of other goodies. The link for that will be down below if you are interested in that. So that'll be all for me today. I hope you guys have a great rest of your day, and I'll see you in the next video.